Welcome to the Ronan Bell Show. This conversation is going to kick off in 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Max, what's going on today, brother?
Hey, man, how are you?
You know, another day, another dollar. I'm sure you got that feeling like you're juggling like 15 different things at the same time, and you're trying to keep them up, and and people are like throwing other things in, so you keep them afloat, and you just can't.
Yeah. Oh my God, it's every day. It's just that another ball's thrown at you and you're like, all right, how many can I juggle today, I guess? So it's a new thing every day. I love it though. I love it. So
yeah, I'd rather do that than be bored. I mean, I'd rather do that than sit and like do a bunch of homework, which, you know, you just kind of got to slide in there every once in a while.
Yeah,
just,
no.
you know, make the rents happy. But Max, let's start off with what do you do, man? What do you do?
So I guess I should just start it out. I run an anime Instagram account for Naruto, and basically I just post content about Naruto. I guess that's really the only way I could really explain it. My @ is Tendopainofficial if anyone wants to look me up. But yeah, I really just am a content creator for Instagram.
So first of all, Naruto is a great show. We'll get into it a little bit later. But when did you start this account?
So I started actually. I'm actually almost coming up on my 1 year. I'm a little bit of ways away, but I started last July, end of June, early July of 2020. So quarantine hit, and then I was kind of just stuck on what to do with quarantine because I feel like we were all in the same boat on what to do. So I was like, all right, well, I just finished Naruto, and I was like, dude, this show is like fantastic. It really hit me different, to say the least. And I started the account last year, and now we're here.
Well, I like how it was kind of like, wow, I really like this show. Like, why not make a fan page about it? Is there like a lot of other people that do what you do with Naruto?
How I would describe it is that I was always within the community per se. So I started following like the characters, you could say, on Instagram, like people having the names and stuff, and they would post content. And I was like, wow, like this seems like really fun and something I wanted to get into. So I did a little research. I hit up a few people that were in the community, and one of my good friends now got me into it, and he basically like kind of led the way for me. And I mean, now I'm here. So I don't know what jump or leap that made for me, but it's kind of caught me off guard a little bit. So yeah, no, there's a good community behind me, and good community like around, I guess you could say, that are also into it, which kind of propelled me to get into the community a little bit.
So I think anime is great, and I think there's a big stigma around it. It's like nerdy, and like it's just like, why would I watch why wouldn't I just watch a regular TV show? But I think anime has like a lot more. It's more of an art than anything else as a regular TV show.
Oh, yeah.
That animation takes way longer than throwing 5 actors in the office or whatever. No diss on it, but like it's way more difficult.
Oh, for sure. I think anime gets a really bad rap. And especially like I can't even, I mean, I've been watching anime since I was like 12 when like Dragon Ball was like airing on TV and stuff. So I was always kind of around it and never really looked at it poorly, I guess you could say. But I feel like there's a bad stigma around it, and I think you're 100% correct on that. And, you know, it comes off as like weird or like childish or something. But I feel like people, you have to, it goes back to the famous line, like, don't judge a book by its cover. Like, until you actually sit down and watch it, like, you will never understand. I welcome anyone that's like, you know, that's trying to get into it to just give it a shot. Like, you never know.
Oh yeah. I mean, people are going to make a judgment on it, whether they've seen it or not. It's like, you know, when you're a kid and you say like, Mom, I don't like broccoli, but you've never actually tried it. It's like the same
Right.
thing.
Exactly.
Just like dumbing it down to that. But yeah, man. So what was like the point of making, you know, your account on Instagram? Was it just like to have fun originally? Were you thinking like, oh man, I'm going to be a millionaire in 3 years if I do this? Or like, what was the main reason?
So it's kind of funny. I still have the same goal as I did when I started, if you know what I mean. Like, I literally just do this for fun. I still don't really have money on my mind, if you know what I mean. Like, money is really not the priority for me because I'm just happy. Like, I'm just happy doing what I'm doing. And like, I really can't ask, like, no one could give me any amount of money to make me give it up. You know what I mean? So, and I think that's like, that's really what, like, you discover your passion. And like, I really have a passion for just talking to people about stuff that I also enjoy. And I think that's the biggest thing. So, when I started off, I really didn't have a goal for money. I just did it because I loved it, and I still love it.
Yeah, no, exactly. But I like how you're saying, like, I don't like it's not about the money. You actually like doing it, because I think people get caught up in the manner that whatever I do, I need to make money. And that's just not true. Like, eventually, yeah, you're probably going to want to make money if you want to do a podcast the rest of your life so you can feed your family. But there's also like you're still having fun with it. And that's the main thing that matters. Like, you're passionate about this, and therefore I'm going to keep doing it. Now, like, you're still in school, obviously. Like, you're probably learning about other things other than, anime, and learning how to run an Instagram account. But that's all going to help you either grow that, get into something else that could promote that better. It just, you don't know where life's going to take you at this point. I mean, what, dude, we're like 20 years old. We have so much left to live.
Oh my God, I know. It's crazy. I think you bring up a great point in the sense of like, you literally do not know where life is going to take you. When I started this account, I never thought it would take off as much as it did. I don't think anyone sits there and is like, you know what, I'm going to blow up one day. Like, you can have that dream and aspiration, but unless you work at it, it's not going to happen. And I can tell you right now, it didn't happen overnight. For sure, it didn't happen overnight.
Well, nothing really does. It's like that 1%. They're not even 1%, like the 0.00001% of people blow up after like their first 3 posts on TikTok or whatever it may be. But that's the stigma in society. Like, dude, if I post like, oh, what if I like come up with this really good idea? Like, I'm going to blow up on Instagram. And I'm like, that's not what it's like. And you know it. Dude, you're up there. Like, you got a good amount of followers. Not like nothing. I mean, that's astronomical, but not that astronomical compared to like Kylie Jenner.
Oh yeah, no. I'm still grounded, man. I'm still grounded.
Yeah, but like that's the thing. I mean, you understand that like how many times do you post a day?
So I post around 3 times a day. I post I try to hit my time marks. It's kind of hard when you're in college and stuff like that. I'm sure you know that, like, it's kind of hard to, do certain things at certain times.
Yeah.
But I post it almost every day at 8 a.m., 12 p.m. And I try to post in the evening. I try to hit for 5 o'clock, but if it's earlier or later, it doesn't, the later post doesn't really matter for me that much.
Yeah. Is there a reason that you do those times, or just that you've been doing them?
That's actually kind of funny. So I have no background in social media marketing, nothing. I literally have just, everything I've learned has been something I've learned from experience or just, from other people. So the reason I do the times is because you give people, when you put out content at different times, it's different for like you. Like a podcast is, once every how many times you do it per month, right? And you have those select few dates, and then you can hype it up to then when it releases. Instagram's a little different. Instagram, you have to release at different times of the day, because you got to think, I have international followers. So I have followers in China, I have followers in Japan, I have followers in India, I have followers in Europe. Like, it's everywhere. So if I post at 8, people in the US can see that when they wake up, but people in China might see that when they're going to bed. So you have to post at different times in the day, because it gives different people exposure to your content.
I like the melodical thinking that you did when you're like saying that. Like, anime is way bigger in Asia than it is here, or especially like Japan, China. I don't know numbers like that, but I know that it's more popular over there. They're all dubbed over in English. They're made for, Chinese, Japanese people. But I like that you thought of, like, you probably did it the first couple times. Like, yeah, I'm just going to post at 8 a.m. But then you're like, oh, why is this gaining more traction than I thought? Oh, like, people in China are over here. Like, that's what they see when they go sleep. And just like not even like almost like backwards thinking what you're doing, which is like interesting, because you're just not like, I like how you say, like, I have no idea what I'm doing to start. No one does. whether they like it or not. Like no one has any
Pretty
idea.
cool.
Dude, do you think I knew what I was doing when I started this podcast? Absolutely, dude. I threw a mic. I did this exact thing, threw a microphone in front of myself. It's like, oh, well, might as well just post it, I guess. It's done. But yeah, man, no, I like
Right,
how that you're
exactly.
still grounded with that. But were you kind of like inspired by any like other accounts? Like, was there anything that like you looked up on Instagram when you were like ready to start making this to try and actually first make the account?
I wasn't necessarily inspired by anyone, but I was kind of just, it really turned, I don't know if like inspiring is really like a good word for it. It was more like I was just filling time. I ended up finishing Naruto, and none of my friends finished Naruto at the point. So I ended up just talking about it with my mom all the time, and she was the only one that would listen to me ramble. So I was like, well, how can I find a way to like vent to other people that have also watched the show and like enjoy it as much as I do? And that's what it ended up turning out to be. I kind of just did it out of my own greed to like vent to people, I guess you could say. That's which is a funny way to put it, but
No, it's like it's interesting how well that's like what people do. Like you found you had a problem, here's my solution, which were all great
right.
ideas come up. Some guy looked at the Scrub Daddy sponge is a perfect example. He goes, wow, this sponge sucks. Let's make it better. Boom, $150 million later. It's the best sponge in the world.
Right.
Like that's where all great ideas come from. I have a problem. Here's my solution. Like you're saying, my mom didn't want to listen to me ramble about anime anymore. So I took it upon myself to maybe make an Instagram with other
Right.
people in the community because the anime community is crazy.
Oh yeah. Oh yeah.
It's way bigger than I thought it ever could be. When I was just like looking through like a couple accounts, just like doing some research on it, I'm like, oh
Yeah.
my God, this is huge. Like this is a market that people in America don't know about.
And I think you bring up a great point because it's I think with the anime, I don't know if you've heard like the recent news how if the new gen anime Attack on Titan just released season 4. For anyone that's watching this, don't spoil it for me. I still haven't watched it, but Attack on Titan is now the most popular show in America. And that's like crazy to think about because 4 or 5 years ago, like anime would have never been number one in America. Like you just would have never heard that before. So I think people are beginning to wake up at the fact of like how overwhelmingly popular this is and like internationally, and it's just hitting America, and America's realizing like they're like, oh, this is way bigger than we thought it was going to be, or this is way bigger than we could have ever imagined. And I'm the same way. Like I started this account and I'm seeing like people in the community and stuff like that, where I'm looking at my community now and I'm like, holy cow, there is so many people, so many like in different, different genres, different shows, everything. It's just, it's amazing to me to this day, how many people really love anime.
Oh, it's honestly like crazy. And it doesn't matter. Like I didn't realize that there was like subcategories of anime. Like I think everyone like saw Naruto and like a couple other animes when they were a kid because I think they used to be on like Cartoon Network or Nickelodeon, one of the two big channels. And I don't think they do it anymore. Maybe they do, or maybe they don't. Anyway, it wasn't as pop. But like until like a couple years ago, like I knew Naruto was like a thing, but I didn't like know that they still made episodes on it. And then like I looked on Netflix and I was like, wow, it's there one day. Maybe I should throw this on. So another question that I have for you is, so you have like this Instagram account and that's great. And you have you're starting to grow. Are you trying to turn this into a business? What do you think's going to happen to not like in the next 10 years? No one can answer that, but where do you see this leading into?
So I would say my end goal is it's the same as when I started. I think as long as I'm happy, I think that the business aspect of it is definitely important, especially now. Like in the beginning, I think I really didn't start. Well, I actually have some exciting news today, which I told you about. I just got my first sponsorship, but that's for a later thing. I really didn't look into the business part of Instagram until I was at the point I'm at now. Like I think a lot of people go into it, especially like new accounts that I see. they hit me up and they're like, hey, how do you grow so much? Like, when should I start doing like promotions and stuff like that? And I'm like, dude, like, I'm really not the best advocate for that kind of stuff because I haven't even started myself, and you see the point I'm at right now. So I think it's hard to give advice on something that you're really not even sure about. And I'm still going through it. So I recently just started looking into business, and I got my first sponsorship today with a little company called V1 Tech, and they do computer parts with basically anime designs or anything you can think of on them. And they decided to send me out a few things. So I'm going to be working with them in the future. So that's my first big step into like the marketing world. But I think I'm just my goal is really not money. I want to be able to do this and make money in the future, but it's not going to be, I just want to be happy with where I'm at. And I just want to keep doing it because I love it.
Well, yeah, I like that approach that like you're gonna stop when you stop having fun. Like that should be it for it sucks to say that about like the real world when like you're in a crappy job after college and you really don't like it. And it's like if you don't have fun, tough crap, man. You gotta stay there because this is giving you your paycheck. But we're young, you're able to like do it however you want. Like at the end of the day, it's an anime account, which is awesome. But it's also just an anime account. Like if you wanted to go get a job and they were like, hey, like we're gonna need you full time, like we don't know if you could do this and that, then you got a decision to make. But right now there's no point to not do everything that you can. And you like doing it. Like there's nothing like posting on Instagram is not rocket science. I don't think people understand that.
Yeah.
Like you just post. Really, I think of my captions literally about 3 minutes before I post it. And then it's just like, you add your hashtags or whatever that you normally add. But I think people think it's like you were saying, like people reach out to you and like, how'd you market this so well? It's more of, I just do it because I like it and people caught on. People get like that feeling that, like, oh, this guy's passionate about this. Like maybe I should give him a follow, even though they might not be, consciously thinking about that. But human beings are drawn to people that are passionate about things. And like, dude, you're passionate about anime. You see it in your hat. You love it. Like you see it all over your wall. Like, that's awesome. And the more you can like get behind it, the more you're going to want to, post about anime.
No, you bring up a great point. I think people ask me a lot, friends, family, like now, like, is there like a secret sauce to getting big? I think that's the question I get a lot. And I'm going to be blunt and honest. The secret sauce to getting anywhere in life is hard work. It's said over and over again by your coaches, teachers, parents, anybody. Hard work. And I 150% back that. There's no website that you can go on. There's no anything that you can, take classes, whatever. You can take all the marketing classes you want. And if you don't put in the work, you're not going to get there. So my biggest thing for people that like want to start or who are inspired by me, because I get that a lot. Like people say like, oh my God, I started my anime account because of you. Like, great. Like, let's see you actually do it now. Because you can be inspired by me, but if you're not going to back it up and like say something like, you know what I mean? Like,
I love that. No, I love that. I love that. Dude, you can talk all the crap that you want until you actually do something. Then it counts. I hate when people do that. I hate when they say like, oh, I'm going to do this. And then you like sit back and you watch them like not do anything for 2 weeks. Like, come on, man. I thought you were going to do this. And they're like, I'm going to leave it alone.
And like, I struggle with it too, because I've been studying stocks as a major in economics right now. And like, there's a lot on my plate. So I have to deal with a lot of things, but I've been wanting to like go to classes and stuff like that online for like stocks and stuff. And I'm like, all right, I'm going to do this. And then I end up not doing it. So I get it. Like there's a proponent of procrastination for sure. But it's like, if you really put your mind to something, like you can do it. Like Instagram for me is not, it's a job right now because I post so much to make so much content. So technically a part of it is my job, but it ends up coming back to like, well, you just have to do it. Like just do it. Like go out and like take that first leap. It doesn't have to be like all the time 24/7 grind, but like just do something. Post once a day. Like if you want to start and if you can't post once a day and you want to get to a point where I'm at, then you're not fit for this. That's just like I'm sorry to be blunt, but like That's just how it
No, it's
is.
true. It's true. And it sucks. Dude, we're the bad guys, right? We're the bad guys on Instagram. Like, oh, you can't blow up. Like, it actually takes hard. People are like, oh, screw you. You're wrong. Like, I saw my friend. Like, who
Right.
cares? You're actually like the thing of the examples of like, I don't know, man. Like the TikTok. I know TikTok's like a lot easier to blow up on than Instagram because of the algorithm and
Yeah,
stuff like that. But I love the example of YouTube. I think YouTube, if you work hard, you make a lot of money.
totally.
Check out PewDiePie, check out Mr. Beast. They go above and beyond. And this is what's really interesting because I'm sure that you do this without realizing. Do you look for and create more content and brainstorm more than you think you actually work on what you do for post, if that makes sense?
Yeah, no, I for sure 100% do that because I'll think, I think a lot of it comes down to like, I have my, when you get to a point or when you get to a certain point where, I really don't have to necessarily, like, it sounds conceited, but like, I really don't have to try anymore. You know what I mean? Because I know what I need to do. So I don't really have to, it's not really hard to think about now because I've been doing it for a year. So like, I've been doing it 365 days or well, almost, but it's kind of just repetition. So not like necessarily muscle memory, but to that extent, like I don't really have to think about my content anymore. But it has been coming to the point where I'm like, wow, I have such a good idea for like a new post or a new story or whatever, just a new idea in general. And I'm like, yeah, no, like I'm just gonna, I'll just put it on the back burner and figure it out some other time. And then it ends up I never finish it. So I don't know. I just haven't changed I believe in like, if it ain't broke, then don't fix it. So I've just been doing the same thing. I come out with new content like every once in a while, but for sure I brainstorm a lot. But most of it is not even, most of it's just in my head and then it doesn't even come out on paper.
Well, yeah, if you throw a bunch of things at the wall, one's going to stick. Like you
Right.
said before, if I know the content that's going to work, now I have 3 cards on the wall that's going to stick instead of 0, which is what you're trying
Right.
to figure out again in these early stages. Like I'm sure it wasn't like snapping my fingers. I have 10,000 followers on Instagram. It doesn't work that way. You figured out, oh, like they like this content. I like this content. We have a connection here. Let me keep posting. And more people realized like, oh, I can like this resonates with me, follow or like whatever it may be
Yeah.
like. So let's go into this. And I think that this is going to be an interesting conversation. Don't spoil it for me. I'm on like season 1 of Naruto, but why do you like Naruto so much in anime in general?
That's a tough question, and that's a really good question because if anyone's seen the show, they'll agree with me that it's 100% hidden in there's a bunch of hidden messages. And I think that looking at from a standpoint, because I never watched it as a kid, but a kid would get way more from it because the basis of the show is that Naruto never gives up. That's his saying, and everything is believe it. Like, I'm gonna give up. So I think there's just a lot of like the character designs, the character development, the story, the plot, everything about it just resonates with me. And I don't know how to like put it in words. You just love it. Like there's nothing about it that I would change. There's nothing about it that they could have done better. Like, yeah, I can nitpick it and stuff like that, but
Oh,
for
yeah.
what it is, it's really like it just resonates with me.
Well, what you were saying was interesting that you were like, I understand how a kid gets it, but I'm going to be completely honest. I think it's better to watch anime when you're a little bit older. Because, like you were
Oh
saying,
yeah.
if I was younger, I would not have picked up the themes that I'm picking.
Oh
Like,
yeah.
again, I'm not that far into the show, but there are some things that are very easy to pick out of like what's just going on so far. And that's what I think is really interesting. Like, you can almost decode what they're trying to say, but it's not even decoding because it is right in front of your face. It's analyzing what Naruto is.
Right.
And that's what I think makes it really cool is that there is a lot of hidden messages within it. Not hidden messages. They kind of throw it at you, but I mean, as a person, you got to use your
Yeah.
intellect and figure it out, right?
Right. Yeah, of course. Because I didn't really watch it as a kid. I watched Dragon Ball as a kid, and Dragon Ball's a show that really doesn't it's not really plot orientated. Like you just watch it for fights. Like that's really what you watch it
Yeah.
for. And I think Naruto does a really good job on the sense of like it adds like a moral factor to the show. And you get a sense of where people are coming from, because there's a quote that I was talking about with some other content creators, and we were basically saying like the villains in Naruto are just people with a different perspective of peace. That's really what it is. So, and that's in our world today. Like people disagree all the time. And it's just because everyone has differing perspectives. Like, I may think running my page a certain way is beneficial because I think it does. And you might think differently because we just have differing perspectives. That's just how life is. And I think Naruto brings it, especially in the turbulent world we live in today. Like looking back on it, it's like, holy cow, like everyone wants the same goal. It's just we have 8,000 different ways to get to that goal. And I think Naruto captures that really well.
Well, that's what I think was interesting, and I was gonna see if you got that as well. But I'm only like a little bit in, but I know that like there's different places, and oh my god, what's the guy's name? Season 1, the guy with the big sword. I'm not gonna remember it. Zabuza, dude. He's like the villain in like the first season or whatever it may be, but he's from like a different place, and he has different opinions, and that's where I think it's interesting is that they're all kind of battling each other in this way that no one's going to get along, which is just like the world we live in today. There's just this conflict of perspective, and no one's ever going to get along. You're always going to have a different opinion from me, no matter what. We're not going to agree on everything. And that's the problem. People don't understand the acceptance of just understanding. Like, hey, man, what if I said, Naruto stinks? You're gonna be like, okay, I get it. We don't need to argue about it. Like, if you want to, we can do a rebuttal. But
yeah, exactly.
That's the thing. It's like agreeing to disagree, which more people have to be able to do.
Well, I mean, I think being as big as I am now, which I still think I'm small. A lot of people like look and they're like, oh my god, 87,000 followers. Like, holy cow. I'm like, dude, like I haven't hit 1 million yet. So I think relating it back, like you're always going to have haters. Like someone is always not going to like what you do. Like, no, you can't please the world. So, the bigger you get and the more followers I gain, the more haters I get. Like, that's just how it is. So I think you hit it right on the head, man. Like if someone doesn't like anime, okay, don't like anime. Like you don't have to. I think where the disconnect is for a lot of people today is they have to voice their hate for things. It's like, if you don't like anime, you don't have to like overly voice to me that you hate anime. Like you can hate anime, but like, don't like direct your hate at me because I like anime. That's just, I don't know. I think that's really like immature. And I think that's really relevant in today's society where it's like, you direct, like you have to find someone or something to hate because, we can't all just live together like peacefully. I don't know.
Oh my God, man. I did a Wisdom Wednesday about like 2 weeks ago. And I said, I'm going to start calling people human instead of black, white, because, at the end of the day, we're all human. This person had the audacity to write a paragraph. Like, I'm laughing my tail off at this, man. Like they wrote a good book, and I'm sure you get more than I do. I'm a little bit smaller, but you get these big paragraphs. You're like, wow, this guy really took like 10 minutes out of his day to like try and make me mad. That's hilarious. That's what I think the comments are at the end of the day.
It amazes me because I don't necessarily get novels in my DMs, but I for sure get hate comments. Like I tried to do I had this bright idea to do like some live TikToks discussing like battles and stuff like that. Like, would blank win or blank win? And I had some people like comment like, dude, this guy has no idea what he's talking about. Or like, this guy is such an idiot. And I'm sitting there and I'm like, if you just don't like it, like you can scroll past, like it's not like a firewall's blocking you from passing it. Like you really just came to my page and just like, you just spread hate. It's like, all right, whatever. So I've been, I'm usually not one to respond. So like, any hate or anything, I think the best thing is to just keep quiet, because I'm sure you've heard the quote or whatever is like, someone's hate towards you is just a view of themselves kind of thing.
Yeah.
So I usually don't respond, but I've been responding recently because I get some funny ones, and I'm just like, I'll do something like, oh, here's the door, or it's like, if you want to unfollow, here's the door, or something like that. And I'll do like the door emoji, and like I'll get a bunch of likes on it. So I've been doing that because a lot of people get defensive in the comments, and I'm like, dude, like I didn't think this was like so like heated in here, but yeah, no, I've been having some fun with it, like coming up with rebuttals.
Yeah,
I
that's
think it's
how it
funny
should
now.
be. Yeah. Yeah, dude, you got to have fun with it. You can't take it to heart. That guy's probably sitting on his couch eating potato chips and not doing anything with his
Right.
life. But all right, man.
Exactly.
So before I
Exactly.
ask you about for one piece of wisdom, I have a question for you. And I like to call this little section top 3. It went away. It's hard to do. It's a couple guests, but we're going to bring it back. This is the first episode of season 3. So what would be your top 3 favorite animes?
I'm going to say Naruto is number 1 because it'd be a disservice to be on this podcast right now and not put it at number 1. I am going to say that Naruto is number 1 for several reasons. It's like I said earlier, it resonates with me. I don't really know what else to say other than that. So that's literally going to be my only reason for putting it at number 1. Number 2, as I look around my room, I'm looking for inspiration. Probably, I'm going to say, so I'll give one of each. I'll do a shonen, which is basically a Naruto-esque, where it's like a little kid grows up and becomes the strongest. That's a shonen. So that Naruto's going to be my shonen. My favorite new gen anime, which is like recent, it came out in 2019, is Demon Slayer. Fantastic animation. It only has 1 season, and I think the movie is coming out the 26th, I want to say, in theaters. So if you guys are interested or have watched it, Demon Slayer, I'd recommend. That has amazing animation, really cool story. So that'd be my number 2. And then I think my number 3 is a classic. If anyone's seen the movie Death Note, that's originally based off an anime. That's incredible. It's basically a thriller / like, I don't even know how to explain it. Kind of like a drama sense. So if you watch like Grey's Anatomy or something like that, like you'd be into that, like that kind of genre of anime is like Death Note. So yeah, those would be my 3, I would say, for my favorites.
Yeah, man, dude, it's so great. I gotta open up my spectrum. I need to watch Naruto first before I get into anything else. I gotta stick to one because I don't watch TV that much. I gotta stick to one and commit myself. But Max, you know the question that's coming up. What would be one piece of wisdom that you want to pass on to the listeners out there?
I was talking about Gary Vee with you earlier, and I think Gary Vee nails it right on the head. And he says there's not a single winner on earth that took it easy. And like, it's true. Like, there's nothing in this life that's going to come easy to you without hard work. Nothing. Not literally anything. It could be waking up in the morning. If you don't attempt to wake up in the morning, you're not going to wake up. So like your first step, and I think a lot of people struggling right now with, like, mental stuff, especially like at our age, that's like, in the world where we live in right now, like that's really hard. And like, I get it, but like your first step is just getting out of bed. Just go, like, think of every day like you're going to conquer it, or do something, just even if it's tiny, just do something.
Do something, man. Make sure nothing in life comes easy. Make sure that you're ready to roll with the punches because you know that they're coming. Guys, that is it for the first episode of season 3 of the Ronan Bell Show. Max, dude, thank you so much for coming on today. Let's plug it all. What do you got?
Thanks, guys. Ronan, it was a pleasure. I hope that, with this, keep working. You're going to blow up someday. I promise it will come soon. Thank you, everyone. If you guys want to follow my page, it's at Tendopainofficial on Instagram. And yeah, it's really all I got to do, or all I got to say.
Max, once again, brother, thank you for coming on the show today. This was awesome. Guys, as I said before, that's it for another episode. I think I've said that twice now, the past 2 times that I've done this. But guys, have a good rest of your day. Hope you're getting through whatever you're getting through. And as always, y'all just keep on keeping on.